everybody? It's me again. Another video for you for Beyond the Borderline. Question of the week is: Does BPD affect your relationships? It affects your relationships in a lot of ways, from actual friendships to romantic relationships. The whole black and white thinking comes into play a lot with this, and where you really can be into somebody a lot, really like them a lot, and then some minor thing would happen, and then the next thing you know, you don't want to be with them anymore, or you don't want to talk to them anymore, or you just don't like them anymore. And so a lot of times you could be with somebody and probably break up and get back together like 4 or 5 times in the course of the relationship. And really, in a normal way, that probably wouldn't happen at all. But in your mind, as far as you just think that they're not, that you just don't want to do it, and that it's just not there, when it was there before, and it was there very strongly to be there, but now all of a sudden it's not. So that's it's just, it goes to the black and white thinking part of it. Same thing with friendships. You could really like somebody a whole lot, and then something will happen, or something will click, and next thing you know, you just don't want anything to do with them, and you just won't talk to them anymore. And I've done that a million times. I probably have screwed up a lot of great friendships in my life just because of that. I had a very, very good friend of mine that's like a friend of the family type person, but very, very good to me. And I thought that she was just like, at the time, I thought that she just was the coolest, the greatest, could do no wrong. Could do no wrong. And something happened, some minor thing, and next thing you know, I couldn't even talk to her. And it was probably 3 or 4 months later, I still hadn't talked to her until another friend of the family told me that I was being stupid, and I just didn't go up and say hi to her. And I did. And she was like, "Oh, I'm so glad you talked to me. You haven't talked to me in all this time." And of course, I didn't tell her that I just all that time I just couldn't talk to her, and I just didn't just was mad all that time, and for no reason really. But at the time in my mind, I thought it was it. I was just like, I was done with this person, and that happens a lot with relationships in a borderline. I mean, you just get this thought in your head that it's either you love them or you hate them. There's no gray, hence the word, I guess, black and white. There's no middle ground, and it's to the extreme, one to the extreme of the other. And I think that whole phrase applies to all areas of being a borderline, is the extremes. And so, I mean, it definitely doesn't, it's not conducive to a healthy relationship with a boyfriend, girlfriend, or just a regular friend. I mean, it's just not, and plus too, with identity disturbance, I mean, you're blank slate, no personality thing going on, where your attitudes and your ideas and your values and who you think you are at that time change so rapidly that a lot of times when you get with somebody, they don't really know what to make of that. And so sometimes I'm sure that kind of, I don't know if it scares them off, but it kind of, I don't know, it just doesn't work as far as relationships go. So there's that part of it as well. Like I said, the whole disorder itself, to me, every aspect of it affects your relationships, and to me that's one of the more troublesome parts of it, is because until you're recovered, you can never really have a healthy, normal relationship with a friend or a significant other. I think it just doesn't work. And like me myself, I have a lot of acquaintances, a lot of people I know, but true friends, maybe one or two. And to be quite honest with you, I'm surprised they're still my friends. With my behavior and overreaction to pretty much everything, and I'm sure I've ruined a lot of relationships, ruined a lot of romantic relationships as well, and where it could have really been something, but in the time, like I said, either love them or you hate them, and two, it's a thing where you can dive. It's the thing too where you dive into it and they're the best, and you're telling them you love them, and and they're it, and then something will happen, some minor thing that no normal person would ever really think about too much, but in a borderline, you're gonna obsess about it and take it to the extreme, and then you're just gonna be like, well, I don't like this person anymore, or this person's like this now, and this is a bad, girl, bad guy, and, I don't want anything to do with this, and before you know it, you're breaking up with them. And then even before it gets to that point, when you're so enamored with them that they can do no wrong, if they aren't as into you as you are to them, and they want to break up, and you're so into them that you can't let go, and that causes a lot of problems as well. So it's not an easy thing, and it's just one of those things that until you're really recovered, it's not going to stop. It's really funny sometimes that you can really think, and that's just not. It's not just with relationships, with all areas of your life. You can be going along and you think you're okay. You think, well, I'm all right now, whatever. But right around the corner is destruction and chaos, and you're back to square one. I've thought that millions of times, where I'm like, well, I'm kind of going along, everything's okay. Next thing you know, bam, you're back in the war zone, so to speak. So you kind of kid yourself into thinking that, and it's never the case. That's for sure. But anyways, that's a little bit about relationships and how they're affected by BPD and all that. So, but anyways, we'll see you next week.